Soon, the whole world will know my name.
Rocky 4.
In 1985, Sylvester Stallone just didn't go out to make another boxing movie. He went out to make a cultural event. Rocky IV wasn't grounded in this reality. It was myth, it was a neon light, it was a muscle-filled reflection of the Cold War, and possibly the most 80s movie ever. This is the story of how Rocky IV turned a boxing match into a world war, and how decades later, Stallone returned to reshape it for a new generation. Now, by the mid-80s, the Rocky franchise had evolved with Stallone himself. The humble fighter from Philadelphia had become a global icon. Rocky IV would take the journey to its ultimate extreme, turning the boxing ring into a metaphor for the entire Cold War.
Rocky Balboa by the throat. Balboa picking up the Russian and throws him to the ground like a wrestler. It's a gutter war. No holds barred in Moscow.
Stallone wrote, directed, and starred again, and this was the peak of his career. This is peak Stallone here in 1985. He was building myth, not just movies. Rocky IV would be the ultimate underdog story. Only this time, the stakes were global.
This is not just an exhibition fight that doesn't mean anything. Look, this is us against them. We have to be right in the middle of the action because we're the warriors. And without some challenge, without some damn war to fight, then the warrior may as well be dead, Stallion.
The film was shot in Los Angeles, Canada, and Wyoming. Although it was very convincing, looking like the frozen Soviet Union, Stallone's vision was massive, bigger fights, bigger emotion, and more adrenaline than ever before. Dolph Lundgren was a discovery, a real-life martial artist and scholar with the physicality of a comic book villain. He was intimidating, beautiful, and terrifying. The perfect Drago.
You will lose.
But that realism of the fight came with a lot of danger. Stallone asked Dolph to hit him so hard, and when he did, it actually moved his heart, and he ended up in the ICU for days, man. Now that's dedication, or if you ask me, insanity. To understand Rocky IV, you really have to understand 1985. The Cold War was raging, the US and Russia were in this huge cultural arms race. What Stallone did, though, is he channeled all that into one fight. Apollo Creed represented the old America, loud, proud, and confident. Drago was the future, precise, silent, mechanical. Their clash was more than sport, it was ideology in motion. That moment reframes everything. Rocky IV becomes a story about grief and the need to reclaim humanity in a world that's turned robotic. And when Apollo dies in the ring, it's kind of like watching the soul of the series die too. The mentor, the showman, the best friend, gone. Now, it's also a big regret of Stallone. He wishes he would have kept Apollo Creed alive, and that really would have took this series down a different trajectory. But it is what it is. And what it does, it leaves Rocky with nothing left but guilt and rage. Rocky IV is basically built out of montages, 4 of them, making up nearly a third of the runtime. But they work. They're pure emotion, pure rhythm, pure 80s. Again, the music tells the story like a lot with these Rocky films. Vince Nicola's heavy synth score replaces that traditional brass of Bill Conti. Critics hated it, but audiences loved it because it felt like the 80s. Fast, electric, unstoppable. This was the movie that made people want to train in the snow, cut down trees, and climb mountains just to scream their name. It wasn't realism, it was motivation cinema. And then the fight. 15 rounds of pure cinematic chaos. Stallone shot it like an opera. Sweat, blood, slow motion, flash cuts. Every punch lands like a drum beat. It's one of the greatest fight sequences ever filmed, not because it's realistic or grounded, but because it's emotional. Every hit tells a story. Rocky just doesn't fight Drago, he absorbs Drago. The man just becomes indestructible through sheer willpower. The editing is quite relentless here, over 8,000 cuts giving the fight the rhythm of war. It's violent, absurd, and yet deeply human. By the end, both men are broken and both transformed. And by round 15, you're just not watching East versus West anymore. It's just two men surviving. And that's the real genius thing about Rocky IV. It's a fight that starts as propaganda, but ends with empathy.
Balboa has done the impossible, and these people love it. It is absolute heaven.
Rocky IV just wasn't a hit, it was a phenomenon. The highest grossing sports movie of all time ever. Kids were wearing headbands, people were quoting Drago, and the soundtrack, just pure 80s, and it went platinum. The film became shorthand for motivation, for patriotism, for pure cinematic adrenaline, but beneath all the flash, there's heart. And Stallone never forgot that.
Everybody should change. Каждый может измениться.
Gone are the robot scenes and some of the flashier edits. In their place, more weight, more grief, and a slower, more emotional pace.
You're my friend. I should stop this fight. No matter what.
Apollo's death hits harder. Rocky's guilt runs deeper.
You gave me a break, but no one else would. You believed in me, but no one else would.
The thing about Rocky vs. Drago is it's older, it's wiser. Stallone's reflecting on his past self, stripping away that excess to find the real soul and the heartbeat underneath. And honestly, it works. Rocky vs. Drago takes the pop epic and turns it into a meditation of loss and legacy. Both versions have their place though, one pure 80s spectacle, the other quiet reflection. Together, they tell the story of a fighter and a filmmaker growing up. 40 years later, Rocky IV still stands tall. It's bombastic, it's emotional, it's ridiculous but sincere, just like the decade that made it. It's the 80s distilled into 90 minutes of heart, sweat, and soul. Because in the end, Rocky IV isn't about America versus Russia, it's about heart versus machine, and in Stallone's world, heart always wins.
Know what you gotta do. Do it.
Well, thank you for watching, everyone. My name is Jason. You've been watching Backtrack Cinema, and let me know, which version do you prefer? Rocky IV from '85 or Rocky versus Drago? Drop your comments in the comments section. We'll have a great discussion about Rocky versus Drago. And my name is Jason. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.